Hey there, this is Mike Shoemake, and I'm going to share a solution that I've been using for last couple of weeks with early calendar classes. What I've got here is some imaginary names, and in the first column, in column B, the imaginary names that I have are just last names. And so what I want you to pretend is that you've gotten these directly from your rosters in your registration system, so you know that all of your students' names appear, last names appear one time in column B. Then for the next column, column A, over here, what you see is last name, comma, first name, and what this is, what you're going to pretend this column is the column of all of the contacts you've made for 1 week from your contact log that you're keeping if you're using a Google form to log those contacts. So this is really only going to apply to those of you using a Google form to log those contacts, but this is all of the names that I am going to say that I pretend contacted over the last week. And so the first thing I need to do is make it so the columns will match. So I'm gonna insert a column here, and then for this column, I'm going to do something called text to columns, which is really quite easy. You just go to the data tab at the top of Excel, and you have text to columns. So when you do text to columns, what it's saying is, how are we going to divide up these last names and first names? So I'm going to hit next on delimited, and then I'm just going to select comma, because where the column is where we want to shift everything over. And then I'm going to hit finish. So what we've done here is basically make it so that I'm going to delete column B because I don't need it. That's the first names and the middle initials. Then what we've done is we've gotten it's into a situation where we have last name and then last name, and these are all going to match up because they're the same list, but your contacts are not going to match up because they were made at different times. You've contacted some 10 times and some 1 time, and that's just how it's going to be. But right now, for the sake of our imagination, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to count the number of times B occurs. So we're going to use this formula, equals count if. You see this A, B? The first value in a count if formula is going to basically ask us, where do you want to count? So what I did was, I told it I want to count all of that. And that's how it showed up, A colon B. The next thing it says, well, what do you want to count? Right here. Well, I told it I want to count the word chum. So I hit enter. And what it's telling me is that the word chum is showing up 4 times. Let's test that. Control F, chum, 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. Shows up 4 times. Well, now I can push that right on down the list. Say I've got 100 people on this list. It's going to tell me that how many times each one of those show up. Well, if everyone is going to be in this list, then it's going to show up at least 1 time. But if there's any students you haven't contacted, say we haven't contacted Miss Song or Mr. McNamara or Mr. Woodard, we haven't contacted those this week. So what's going to happen is these are going to show up as 1s because the only time those occur is in column B. So now I've created something else that's kind of a simple little formula. All it is an if formula. And so what I'm saying in the if formula is if the information in column C is less than 2, in other words, if it's a 1, then that means that nobody's contacted them. Then, excuse me, if it's greater than, if it's 2 or more, then it's been contacted, and write done, right? If it's less than 2, it's 1, then write make contact. So very easily, so make it a little easier to see is why I did this. What we see here is the word make contact beside Song. So got to contact that person. McNamara, got to make contact. Woodard, got to make contact. What's nice is you can recycle this this every week and just drop all of your contacts in here and make sure they've all popped up as done and not make contact. But I'll share this spreadsheet online so everybody can see it. This is Mike Shoemake. It's been 5 minutes, and hopefully now we'll all be able to tell who we've contacted and who we haven't on a weekly basis. Thank you very much.